A law under consideration in Pennsylvania could give victims of child sexual abuse a second chance at justice. A groundbreaking Pennsylvania grand jury report this month revealed the Catholic Church's alleged cover-up of decades of sexual abuse by 301 priests. As we've reported, investigators found disturbing allegations involving more than 1,000 abused children.
In one example, 5 sisters in one family were abused by the same priest. One of the children was just 18 months old. The Pennsylvania Catholic Conference told CBS News in a statement, quote, "We are devastated and outraged by the revelations of terrible sexual abuse crimes committed in the Catholic Church. The time to discuss legislation will come later. Our focus now is on improving ways that survivors and their families can recover." Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro led the investigation and is with us now. Good morning.
Good morning.
I know that the grand jury also found evidence against more than 400 priests. Why could you only charge 2 of them?
We have weak laws in Pennsylvania which only allowed me to charge 2 priests, in part because our statute of limitations, as it's called, is so short, but because of the sophisticated cover-up, because of the efforts that went by through the bishops, stretching all the way up to the Vatican. They shielded these predator priests from the arm of the law. We charged 2. One has already pled guilty, and this priest went from being a priest to a known sexual predator in our community, and the other priest will be going to court later this fall.
Your office has done incredible work, but it is sickening to read this report and what you guys uncovered. Since it was released, how many people have called your office in terms of reporting perhaps additional abuse?
Norah, we set up a special clergy abuse hotline. We've received, as of late last night, 733 calls to our clergy abuse hotline in just the nearly 2 weeks since this report came out. I want every single survivor out there to know, and CBS has done an unbelievable job giving voice to these survivors through your coverage. Every survivor should know if they call our hotline, we will listen and we will track down their truth.
Yet does the cover-up continue by the Catholic Church?
I believe that statements made by bishops in Pennsylvania, by Cardinal Wuerl specifically, to deny this does further the cover-up. It covers up the cover-up. And the Church's own documents, Norah, prove that they are not telling the truth even in the wake of this.
You've actually said that this goes all the way to the Vatican, this cover-up. How so?
There are specific examples where when the abuse occurred, the priests would go, the bishops would go and lie to parishioners, lie to law enforcement, lie to the public, but then document all of the abuse in secret archives that they would share oftentimes with the Vatican. There are specific examples where the Vatican knew of this abuse and they were involved in the cover-up.
What you're talking about here is a structure of cover-up. It's not just some hurried measures, that there was an actually organized way of covering up, which suggests there are 49 other states. Are you getting calls from other states, and is it your assumption that this was going on in lots of other parishes across the country?
I think Pennsylvania is pretty unique, but I don't think, unfortunately, we're unique in this way. And yes, I have received calls from more than a dozen attorneys general of both parties from across the country, as well as receiving a call from a representative of the Department of Justice. Some of them have opened investigations. Others have inquired as to how they should investigate. But unfortunately, I think what we saw in Pennsylvania, the widespread sexual abuse of children, the organized, sophisticated cover-up, unfortunately, it's probably not unique to Pennsylvania.
Does it go all the way up to the Pope?
I know that it stretches to the Vatican. Look, I'm a prosecutor. I deal in facts and evidence and apply the law. And I can tell you that there is facts, there is evidence that takes this cover-up and what occurred in Pennsylvania directly to the Vatican.
Now, when Nikki first brought it to us, it really is stomach-turning, Josh. You know, most of us can say that's horrible, but there's nothing we can do about it. But you're in a position to do something about it. It's so hard to believe that some of these priests will now actually get away with it. What do you want to see happen?
I want to see happen what the 23 grand jurors in Pennsylvania who spent 2 years listening to this gut-wrenching testimony, reading the secret archives contained in the Church's records, just feet away from where the bishops sit. I want to see the grand jury's recommendations passed. Look, Gayle, there should be no statute of limitations when it comes to the sexual abuse of a child.
Exactly.
Right now, we're limited in that time frame. About 40 other states have already done away with the statute of limitations. We should do that. We should give victims the opportunity, as the grand jury calls for, to go and get aid to help them with their counseling. These grand jury recommendations need to pass, and I'm putting every ounce of my being. The survivors are putting every ounce in their being to seeing it pass in Pennsylvania.
99 of the priests were from Pittsburgh. The
Pittsburgh Diocese.
Thank you, the Pittsburgh Diocese. Its Bishop, David Zubik, denies there was a cover-up in a statement saying the Diocese of Pittsburgh today is not the church that is described in the grand jury report. You believe that's true?
Two responses to Bishop Zubik. Number one, he's not telling the truth. And the church's own documents prove that. And second, Norah, child rape in 1970 is the same as child rape in 2018. It is unacceptable. And the idea that the bishop would just simply say, oh, well, this was a long time ago, is demonstrably false. And it is absolutely the wrong response to this.
Yeah, we're going to have to leave it with those very strong words. Thank you very much for joining us, Josh.
Thank
You're
you.
watching CBS. We'll be right back.